Iverson, wow, what a fake off Daniels as he broke his ankles and got all the way to the cup.
Hey. Welcome back, everybody. We are live and direct from the Belly Up studios in the Drunk on Broad network. I got my buddy Dom filling in from the Fired Up podcast to talk a little bit of Sixers, a little bit of trade deadline, a little bit of Super Bowl. So we got a little bit of everything tonight. Dom, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate your Brad Lidge coming in the ninth emergency.
Hey man, you got it. I mean, listen, anything for you guys, you know. Definitely appreciate you guys. So I'm just happy. I'm asked. So
yeah, I mean, listen, yeah, Dom, I gotta tell you real quick off the jump, the interview the other night, spot on, man. That was awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, we had Brian Propp. He could not have been a nicer guy. So it all goes to him.
How did you guys get hooked up with him? You mind me asking?
So Mike had a connection somehow.
Okay.
We got in contact with his people and like his agent. Actually, his agent owns the company with Trent Cole. They run the agency together, I believe. And I don't know off the top of my head. I saw a list, I think, when we first started getting this going, because this took a couple weeks. But I saw a list of like they had different, they obviously represent different people. I think Prop was like one of the bigger guys in that agency, so they're a little bit smaller, but still, I mean, getting Brian Prop and going to a company that has Trent Cole. I mean, that's any Philly fan's dream.
For where we're at, anytime that you can have someone on that is remotely mildly affiliated with a team, or I thought that a lot of the cool conversation was around like not only his playing days, but kind of what he's into now. So
yeah, absolutely.
So Don, let's do our weekly throw the bouquets at the Embiid.
Yep.
I mean, his ability to be able to emulate other players, current and past, just blows my mind. The fact that he's able to operate on like a position by position, wherever he's got the ball in the low post, he's operating one way, bringing the ball. How many times? I mean, he's doing things that we saw. I won't use his name, but that guy going end to end, getting the rebound, going end to end. Throw your bouquets at your boy Embiid.
Hey man, listen, he is the closest thing that we've seen probably since Hakeem, right? Since Olajuwon. I mean, it's spitting image. I'm not afraid to say it. I think he's one of the most talented bigs ever. That doesn't mean he's one of the best bigs ever. Maybe one day, but I think he's certainly one of the most talented. Obviously, we saw the videos of him, doing the MJ moves and the Kobe moves, and even when he first came here in his first year that he played, we saw a lot of, or the first 2 years he played, we saw a lot of the same videos of him doing the Olajuwon moves, So I mean, the guy to do the things that he does at what is he 7'2"? I mean, the step back threes and the step back mid range shots. I mean, he's from another planet.
It's almost like he's And the craziest thing, I heard the interview with him and Missinelli earlier this week, and him talking about the fact that he's only been playing basketball as long as he has, and he's able to do the things that he does, and he's able to. The best videos that I saw are the videos where he emulates the plays, and the plays are kind of put side by side with the Olajuwons, the Kobes, the MJs. That just blows me away. And I think for me, the guy that made me feel the way that I feel about Embiid was Iverson, right? Iverson was a must-see every night. I feel like Embiid is appointment TV at this point. regardless of who they're playing.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like that his whole career. I mean, listen, there's a lot of games Embiid missed from his rookie year to now, and we're not going to name the other guy, like you said. But there were games where he was the best player on the court that we thought at that time, where it was like he was playing and like Embiid wasn't playing because he was out or sitting or resting or out for 10 games, whatever it was. And it was like, yeah, I'll watch the Sixers tonight. But then when Embiid's back, it's like you have to watch. Like I always felt like that.
It just I think we're at the point right now where we're really getting to appreciate everything that he brings. And the other guy that's impressed me in the last month, is Tobias Harris, a guy that we've kind of given a lot of crap for his inconsistency, whether it's game to game or quarter to quarter. He's notorious for having 17 or 18 points in the first half and then
ending with 23.
Right. And then he ends with 22, 23. In this last month in January, put up 330. He's got 3 30-point games. I think you're starting to see the more that Maxey is able to get where he wants on the court. I think you're starting to see those things start to open up for Tobias.
Oh, for sure. And, and obviously the better that Tyrese gets with ball handling, you see more of Tobias being able to hit those shots or be more confident in hitting those shots. So the two things about Tobias, one, I want to point out the other night, who did they play? Phoenix. He hit a clutch three.
Yeah.
A huge three late in that game. I will give him a lot of credit for that, especially coming off of, like you said, this last month. Mm-hmm. And then coming off of those comments and us fans, really bashing him. And you know what? He didn't do what the other guy that we won't name. He didn't do what he did. He did what Embiid did. He stepped up and said, you know what? I'll take the criticism and I'll use it to get better.
Do you think anything of that is COVID related? You think that is any of that slow start was related to any of the issues that he had from COVID?
I think it could very well be because look, Embiid, and look how long it took Embiid to kind of hit that stride. It took him what probably the end of December to really start becoming that 29-point average player. Definitely. I definitely think that it could have something to do with that. Also, and I've been saying this forever, that if he is your third best scorer, you're in a solid spot to win a championship. It's just he has never been anything less than a number 2 scorer, not player, just scorer. And your number 2 scorer in today's NBA, averaging 18 and 8, 20 and 8, whatever he averages, that's just not enough in the playoffs. And he was a guy who kind of went missing late in the playoffs last year. So, And also the other thing I wanted to say about Tobias too is I take full credit for him playing well. Because listen, since he's been here, there have been a lot of ups and downs. Really, since the contract, there have been a lot of ups and downs with him with the fans. And I've always backed him. I think he's a very good player. And then the minute that I say, all right, you know what? Maybe the world is right. Maybe he does. It just isn't worth that money. I never thought he was worth the money, but you had to pay him. And the cap always goes up every year. So in a couple years, it wasn't really going to matter. But I take credit because, as soon as I bashed him, what does he do? He starts playing lights out. So I'll take my applause. You're welcome, Philadelphia. It was all me. It was not Tobias. It was all me.
You get your bouquets, right? Listen, I think, and something we'll get into in a minute with the trade, with all the trade rumors that are going on. A lot has come out about Maxey with him being a guy that is not on the radar to be moved at all. And I think that is only due to his performance on the court, right? They're seeing the asset that he can be as that off. I think in the future, ideally, it wouldn't surprise me if tomorrow there's some kind of transaction with a true NBA point guard, like a Schroeder, a Dragic, a guy that's been that's kind of stuck in Toronto, but rumored to the Knicks, the Hawks.
I got a name for you to see if you're interested.
Sure. Go ahead.
I don't know if he's rumored to be traded right now, but possibly in the offseason. What about Brogdon?
Oh, dude, I'm all in on Brogdon.
Yeah, I like Brogdon too.
If you can get Brogdon, right, then that slides Maxey to either be the.
You could keep him at the 1.
You could keep him at the 1, right? But Brogdon is a guy that he can be your off-ball scorer and be able to get you, that consistent, 18 to 23 a night.
Right.
He's a guy I'd be. I think if I said kick the tires on, I think that'd be doing him a disservice. I think that's a guy you definitely have to look into.
Right. So my only thing is I think they're only going to fill that position with the only way they're going to fill that position is if it's a Damian Lillard, hypothetically Luka. You know what I mean? Like those types of guys that is Maxey. Is Brogdon that much better than Maxey? Is Dennis Schroeder? I don't think Dennis Schroeder's better. I'm not a Dennis Schroeder fan, but Dennis Schroeder's not better than Maxey. You know what I mean? So I really think that they like him so much that you're gonna have to find that elite superstar Damian Lillard.
Yeah, you're right.
Game-changing, franchise-changing guy to really have him replaced because they like him so much.
Here's where I'm at with those two guys, though. With Beal,
which two guys?
With Beal and with Lillard.
Okay.
I'm having a lot of second thoughts about both of those guys, and it's a loyalty to a fault thing. I think they are so loyal to Portland and Washington, respectively, that they don't want to leave. Right? They're comfortable being in the role that they're in, but they're absolutely blowing smoke up their own ass. Right? If Damian Lillard is saying that, the trade today, right? Bring in Joe Ingles.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Joe Ingles? That's an expiring contract, so he's not even going to play this year. But if he thinks that by clearing cap space and getting rid of McCollum is going to be able, who the fuck wants to go and play in Portland?
Right.
Right. Same with DC, right? With Beal, right? Beal, one day he wants to be traded. One day he wants the extension. Now he's getting the surgery. He's out for the season. He hems and haws all day long. For me, those two guys, the indecision and the loyalty loyalty, great, but it's almost loyal to a fault, because if you're Damian Lillard and you're looking at the garbage that is playing around you, and you look at if you could go to Philly and play with Embiid and Harris and Maxey, what the hell are you seeing? What do you I don't get that mindset to say all right, I have the opportunity to go there. No, I'm gonna stay here.
Right.
I'm gonna play with who's the team that plays the Globetrotters. Right. I'm gonna be on the Generals.
The 2021 Portland Trailblazers. That too.
Right.
It's so funny you bring this up because I had this conversation today with somebody. The exact same conversation. It's you do respect the loyalty, but it's almost at the point where it kind of makes them unsexy. It kind of makes Beal unsexy. It kind of makes Dame unsexy. And that's the thing. It's even if Lillard didn't come here, say he went to Milwaukee hypothetically, that's a way better situation. Even if it goes to the Knicks, that's a way better situation.
Yeah,
at least
I'd have more respect for Dame if he went to New York.
Right,
because you can play with Julius Randle, and
I'm just saying, hypothetically, right?
Yeah, no, it's that loyalty to a fault is something that I just listen. And I was the guy who tweeted out the Dame Lillard picture with the Sixers jersey on from the Drunk on Broad account the other day, because I'm looking at the trade deadline, and we can just kind of jump into that. The trade deadline, I'm watching all those chips fall, and I'm looking at Lillard and I'm going, yo, Let's go. Pack your bags.
Right. Well,
I'm on the first train to Portland.
I was gonna say,
get the fuck in the car. Let's go.
I was gonna say, you and I are jumping in the car right now, driving cross country. I've been to Portland. Portland sucks, but like as a city, there's nothing to do there. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm hitting those interstates, and I'm going to pick him up in a heartbeat. But you know, like a guy like Beal too. Like, have you seen his numbers this year? I mean, I know maybe he's playing hurt or whatever. It's trust me, I take him in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
He's like shooting 30 from 3. Like, that's not
Yeah.
good. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting tomorrow. I think it's either going to be extremely there's going to be a lot of things going on or nothing at all. And I don't think there's going to be anything in between. I could be totally wrong, but I think it's either it's going to be hectic or totally dead.
Right. Like, so what was that? On Monday, I'm like, I'm going nutty because I'm waiting for that shoe to drop.
Yeah.
Right. The early news comes out with the McCollum deal early on, and I'm like, holy shit! Like, you know, you're looking at, you know, McCollum going to the Pelicans for what? For Josh Hart,
right?
And Nickeil Alexander and Thomas Satoransky,
right? Who they traded today, I think, right?
Right. Who then they then moved today. Like, I'm looking at that and I'm going, and then, you know, you look at the deal that Portland made the other day with Covington and Powell going to the Clippers.
Right.
They're selling parts like a yard sale. And I'm looking at that and I'm going, yo, like, Daryl,
right.
Like, let's go. Dial them up. You know the number in Portland.
Dude, I tweeted out that meme today, you know, with the guy with the stick, and the I made that meme today with this, with the Sixers logo. Dude, come on, do something. I should have did Daryl Morey's face. I think that would have been better.
That would have been good. But like, and then, you know, the Kings and the Pacers make that deal.
Yeah.
And I think Mike might have put something out, but like, I saw something out there, but it was literally like, what the fuck are the Kings doing?
Yeah.
Like, how is that? How do you look at Halliburton and Buddy Hield and Tristan Thompson, and like, you didn't get back anything monumental? Like, you got back Domantas Sabonis. Okay. Yes, but now he's out there in the same position that Halliburton was in.
Yeah.
He's
in the same position he was in Indiana. I mean,
right.
You know,
like it's just 1 for 1.
Yeah.
But I feel like Halliburton there with Miles Turner, right? It's a better position for him and Hield.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, Sacramento going to Sacramento, you know? Listen,
I hope Ben Simmons ends up in Sacramento some way. Like Sacramento, Minnesota. Like,
right.
He needs to end
Portland.
up in basketball Siberia.
Yeah.
Like, but he literally needs to be in a place where no one gives a fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess Portland wouldn't be that. That's the only thing they have. But like I said, the city's very boring.
Don't forget about the Portland Timbers, the very successful MLS franchise.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, they have a minor league team too, I think. My brother lived in Portland, so I've been there. He doesn't live there anymore, but he had been to a baseball game out there. I think it's some kind of minor league team or something. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be interesting tomorrow. It really is. I hope it's going to be interesting.
So, Dom, in your heart of hearts, do you think that Harden ends up here? And would
tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
No, because I think I trust Woj the most when it comes to this stuff. And where the hell is Shams? Is he just like he's on vacation probably, right? He's using that PTO. Like, we haven't heard from him all day.
Yeah. No, I mean, between him and Windy, I think I'm kind of out on them.
Yeah.
They are in it for the likes.
Right.
Where I feel like Woj is like he's like the guy that's been working at the newspaper for like 47 years and just won't quit.
Yeah.
Like, and he just like everything that he puts out is just like facts. Here it is. This is what's going on. And he's not putting out dumb shit that fucking Wendy. If Wendy puts out another fucking tweet about, oh, well, there's really interest in, the one I saw today. Oh, well, the Nets really are interested in Maxey and Thibault and Seth Curry. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Right.
Like,
so am I.
What did you really think that it was going to be Ben Simmons and Paul Reed and Jaden Springer in a first round pick? Like, it's not going to be Ben Simmons and half the fucking Delaware Bluecoats.
Yeah, listen, Windhurst, all these guys, they're the kids at the kids table, and then when Woj comes in, he's like a big dick in a locker room, just like, yep. he
on the table.
Right. So listen, as much as I want them to make a move for Ben Simmons and I want them to bring in the best talent possible, I think I'm going to believe Woj the most. I really am. I mean, if he says nothing is going on, then chances are it's probably not going on. And maybe the Sixers are leaking stuff to try to get a deal done, try to get the Nets to pick up the phone or call them or whatever it is. But no, I don't believe Harden's going to be a Sixer tomorrow. That's just my feeling. I think it's more of an off-season thing.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. It's just a gut feeling.
I honestly like where I'm at right now, and Mike, I agree with you. Like, do I
totally.
I not like Harden the player? He's a fucking boring ass player, right? He's going to dribble the ball 400 times, but he clearly makes you exponentially better than anything you had. And if he slots in as the first or the second, as the one, him and Embiid are 1 and 1A, and Tobias is your third scorer, I'm cool with that.
Right.
Right. And everything else around them really is like ancillary. Like, fill it in with whoever you need.
And I want to kind of highlight what Mike says there too, like loser. My thing, I'm going to give you 3 names.
Sure.
And tell me what they have in common, okay? Patrick Ewing, Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley. Correct. No ring.
No rings.
But to me, those guys are winners. Even though Damian Lillard, even to an extent, that guy is he's a winner. Even if he never leaves Portland or never wins a championship, to me, those guys are step up, make the plays, and they're always going to be winners. To me, even if James Harden never wins a title, even if James Harden wins a title, right, I still think he's kind of a loser. I do. I just don't think his style wins. I'm not a Harden fan. I'm really not. Okay. But I agree with Mike. With Mike just said. I mean, he gives you the best chance to win. And it doesn't look like we said earlier in the show, doesn't look like Damian Lillard's leaving. Doesn't look like Bradley Beal's leaving anytime soon.
No.
Listen, maybe Luka eventually leaves, but when that happens, who knows where Embiid's going to be? You know what I mean? Like in his career, he might be on the downside. I mean,
Dom, I'm going to throw a name at you.
Yeah.
Right. Only because of what is going on in that city right now. Like, what about Jaylen Brown?
I love Jaylen Brown.
Right. Like him and Tatum are kind of button heads. If Boston, and almost prophetic, Dom, that you could send Simmons to a franchise that you fucking hate, and that he would be wearing that Celtic green, and that you would have the opportunity. He would play in your conference. He'd have at some point would have to show up for a game in the city of Philadelphia. He's a guy that is young. He plays like this city emulates. He's a hard-nosed guy. He plays both ends of the court.
I think he'd be the best fit.
That's the guy that I'm leaning most towards in terms of like where to send Ben Simmons. But I think in my heart of hearts, I think tomorrow there's a deal that gets done, but it's not a deal that we're expecting. I
Right.
think it's a deal that's maybe on the fringes that gets them a point guard. Maybe it's a shooter. But I think the Harden move, I think, is a summer move.
Me too. I agree.
I think that he opts out, and I think Morey's playing it in a way where he's saying, "Hey, listen, he's going to walk away at the end of the year. He's walking away.
Right.
I know he's walking away. We're going to clear whatever cap space we can, and we're going to bring him here, and you're going to lose him for fucking nothing."
Right. And going back to Jaylen Brown, I think Jaylen Brown, maybe besides Bradley Beal, I think him and Bradley Beal are two of the names that fit the most in this roster.
Right.
Listen, I love Lillard, but I just love the way Maxi's playing right now. So, like,
Yeah.
would I take Lillard? Absolutely. But like I said, I just think Jaylen Brown really fits what the Sixers do. He fits really well with Embiid. Yeah, I don't know. But I agree. I think they're gonna pull a name out of nowhere tomorrow. Like something we're not expecting. It'll be a decent move, maybe a bench move. A guy that could fill in, maybe play some minutes. Nothing crazy. I completely agree.
Yeah, I'm kind of there. I'm waiting, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a lot of the local chatter has been around that this is the inkling that this is more of a long-term play. I think they saw what happened with Portland. I think they saw what's going on with Harden, the fact that I think he realizes that Kyrie's, half a kook sitting on the edge of the earth.
Right.
I
like that one.
I just listen. That's the science teacher flat Earth joke. For me.
Right. Listen, and like that's the thing. It's like you're saying, like Kevin Durant's the one who loses the most out of this because take the whole vaccine thing out of it for Kyrie.
Yeah.
Even if COVID wasn't a thing, he was still going to find a way to be a lunatic. So so Durant loses there, and then Harden doesn't want to be there. So Durant could be in Oakland right now still. You know what I mean? He I don't think he expected this at all.
No, I think here's the only reason why maybe they push their chips all in this year. Because I think they see an opportunity this year where the East.
You're talking about Brooklyn.
Where either Brooklyn or Philly, right? That I think if the Sixers are pushing all in,
right,
I think they see an opportunity that the East can be had. Where Brooklyn may see, Kyrie's half a kook who can't play for home games.
Right.
And, Durant and Harden are kind of iffy on when they can and can't play.
Yeah. I thought of something interesting. Well, I didn't think of it. I had heard somebody bring it up recently. If you're Milwaukee or Philadelphia or Miami, whoever, you're in the East and you have to face Brooklyn in the playoffs, right? In the first round. What's going to stop that team, Philly, Milwaukee, Miami, whoever, what's going to stop that team from going to their mayor and saying, we need a mandate that you need to be vaccinated? What's going to stop them from saying well, there goes Kyrie. That's chip one. You know what I mean? Somebody brought that up and I was like, you know what? I actually kind of like, and I'm not somebody who likes that kind of, I like that. Screw Kyrie.
The whole playing mind games with them. I don't think it is out of the question at this point anymore. It does.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, with the way the world has been the last 2 years, I mean,
nothing would surprise me.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
At all. Dom, anything else you want to talk about Sixers? Any other bouquets you want to throw out?
Oh man. I'm just happy with the way Embiid's playing. I'm happy with the way Tobias is playing. I hope they can make a big move tomorrow. That'll help them win a championship. That's all I really got.
Listen, I have this vision of Embiid sitting on the front of a school bus with 2 bottles of champagne, just driving down, putting what Jason Kelce did
Right.
On like a whole new level.
I was gonna say Embiid's got to be the one with the mummer. Like we got to get him the mummers outfit, right?
Oh
like could you imagine?
This city would lose their mind, and he would get up on the mic on the art museum. Trust the process.
Yeah. He'll drop the F-bomb like Utley. Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if like he gets Sam Hinkie back.
Right.
Gets him back
right.
to ride on a bus with him. Oh my god.
They fired Sam Hinkie. Yeah. It's the whole team. Yeah.
And all listen, now that if we want to, we can switch over and talk about a Super Bowl a little bit.
Yep.
The coolest thing about this week, Tom, has been all the Facebook memories that have kind of like the flood of the pictures and videos and and going back to reliving that experience of the everything that happened around that Super Bowl.
No, go ahead.
Best fan day of my life.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things. It's like you remember everything, every second of that ride, and then you remember nothing at the same exact time. Because I was thinking about this the other day, like, where I was when it happened, like when they won, what I was doing, where I went after they won, the next day, like and then all of a sudden it was like, because I feel like every year, as Eagles fans, we lose. We either don't make the playoffs or we lose early in the playoffs. And then it's like, you got to get through January and February and March. And then it's April and then it's the draft. And then it's like time just drags. And then I felt like that year. Yeah, I felt like that year it was the parade. And then in the snap of a finger, oh shit, we have the draft next week. Like it was just a blur and like in the best way possible. So, yeah, I mean, I wish I could relive the Super Bowl. I wish I could relive, that night. I wish I could relive the parade. I wish, all of that. It gives me chills just thinking.
Just want that back. Want that feeling back. It's just incredible. I mean,
and it's always going to be special if they win. It's always going to be special if they win, but it's never going to be as special as that moment. I don't know where you were, but I was surrounded by family and it was just, and then you go to the parade and you're surrounded by millions of family. You know what I mean? Like it's just, listen, it was something else.
I spent that afternoon at home with the kids. My wife was working, so we were, I was at home, but like I'm all day.
Yeah.
The Eagles fight songs just all day long. I'm pacing around the house, but like had like a really good feeling, had a really good vibe that day.
Yeah.
Don't know what it was.
It's a funny story really quick, actually, to bring up Mike. So it was the day of the Super Bowl and we're at my, one of my uncle's house and Mike's dad walks in and his mom walks in and we're sitting at the table. And for anybody who doesn't know, Mike and I are cousins, but, we're sitting at the table and, nobody's talking about the game because we are just, you just don't talk about what's going to happen. The last thing on your mind is the game. So we're all sitting around talking about stuff. And I think it was Mike's mom who turned around like, so are the Eagles going to win? And everybody was like, yeah, shh. Like, I remember his dad turning around to her and saying, yeah, no, we just got it. Zip it and throw it away. Like, but it was just a very funny memory because I almost was like, well, and then like everybody's like, no, like stop.
No.
You don't talk about it.
Yeah. And listen, the kids are like, they're young enough to like be into it because dad's into it, but not young enough to actually like understand. So like when things are happening in the game and I'm sitting there by myself, like biting my nails, I'm like, they're like, Dad, what's wrong? They just dropped the ball. What's the problem?
Right.
I'm like, no, you don't understand. It was third down. And it was like that. And, but also trying to like share that moment with them.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Like, so like it, and then, everything, the game ends, and I get a call, I'm on the phone with my dad crying. Like we're having, like, we're sharing that moment. And then my brother is working at a bar. He was bartending that night.
Okay.
So of course my mom and dad are like, what are you doing right now? I'm like, nothing. They're like, let's go see Tim. right? So they pick my brother up in Fort Washington. They pick me up. We drive over to Glenside. Don, we were there until like 4:45. And then stupid ass me forgot to call out of school.
Oh man.
So I
Oh
got
boy.
like 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Went and taught and but had a great time because we were sharing all those moments with the kids and with the teachers.
Right.
It was incredible.
Yeah, so after the game, now I'm from South Philly, so my uncle's house that we were at is in South Philly as well. So we went to Broad Street after.
So you were right in the fucking mix of it all.
Yeah. So we walked to Broad Street, and it was just I remember seeing my brother-in-law and like my brother-in-law hugging me and picking me up. I'm a big guy, hugging me and picking me up. But
everybody was weightless on that day.
Yeah. And then I remember walking into work the next day. At that time, I worked for my stepdad, and I walked into work, and he looked at me and he said, he's not a football fan, but he looked at me and he said, "I'm surprised you're here." He said, "I'm surprised you're awake and alive, and you're here." God. But what a special couple days, couple weeks, year, really. I mean,
yeah, really. I mean, and it started with the draft, it ended with the parade.
Right.
Just a great time. Just a great time. So
did you get real quick, did you get to go to the draft that year or
I did not go to the draft.
Yeah,
I was trying to go to the draft and things just never kind of worked out for me to get down there.
So I've been there like a handful of really good sporting things in my life. Easily top 3.
Really?
Yeah. It was an experience. Literally like I didn't go to work that day, like took off. Man, it was like you said, it was just that whole year, that draft and then the special, then only losing 3 games that year and then the playoff run and but yeah, I mean that was an amazing time. From noon to like I think we got home at midnight. So so we were there for like 12, 13 hours. So
it's awesome.
I mean, it was an experience.
Awesome.
And it was free. So
and yeah, I mean that's one of those that I regret not going.
Yeah, I mean,
I really do.
My boy was like in the he won tickets to be inside, like to have seats, and he's sitting like he texted me. He's like, yeah, I'm sitting 20 feet from Adam Schefter right now. I'm like, oh, tell him I said what's up. But he's like, it's kind of like messed up because like he's announcing the pick to us, like he's turning around saying, oh, the pick is in, like 2 minutes before they announced the pick. Like he's like, you want to be surprised with everybody else, and he's just pulling his dick move and like turning around and like, yep, Derek Barnett. Like,
like no,
dude, I was on TV actually.
Stop it.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was ESPN or NFL Network, which one it was, but the camera guy comes up to us and we're like, 8 drunk guys, drinking all day and sweating, like just profusely sweating. And the only thing I remember was he came up with the camera and he's like, you guys want to get on TV? And we're like, yeah. So like he puts the light on. He's like, all right, when they announce the pick, you guys have to, cheer. So we're like, all right. They announced Hassan Reddick gets picked. The guy, he's went to Temple. He's the pick. Right. Yeah, picked to Arizona. The Eagles come up. We're sitting there. We have like arms around each other, getting ready to cheer. The 2 names were Reuben Foster. Is that his name? Or
Reuben Foster.
Reuben Foster.
He went to San Francisco.
Yeah, and he wound up, being a lunatic. But and Dalvin Cook. They were the 2 names. All of us were like, and it was like 8 of us and like 10 other random guys were just, having a good time. And they announced, everybody's like, oh, Derek Barnett. And we're like, oh, and like, they were like, yeah, we can't air that. Like, and then I think it was like, maybe like 10 minutes later, they're like, yeah, we'll just get like B-roll of you guys. So we eventually made it on TV, but he was like, awesome. The camera guy was like, yeah, we can't have you guys like not happy.
Right. The whole thing is that you're supposed to be excited.
Right.
Oh God. Well, Dom, this year, on Sunday we got the Rams and the Bengals. Never would I have ever said that I thought the Bengals would have been in this spot right now. couple years from now, maybe. But talk about that Bengals run.
Dude, listen, I had said it multiple times. I think
Because you were on that Bengals train early.
Yeah. I had said that Burrow was going to win soon. I didn't think it was going to be this year. He still might not win, but I had said that he's going to be the guy for a while. And I think that he was going to win one soon or get close to winning one soon. This was before the Raiders game. I thought they were going to beat the Raiders. I didn't think they had any chance of getting any further. Man, was I wrong. I'm definitely somebody who said, wow, that Jamar Chase, like that was a bad pick. Not a bad pick, but they should have went O-line. Like they need to fix this defense. Like they already have two really good receivers in Boyd and Higgins. Like what are they doing getting Chase? The first 3 weeks of the year, Jamar Chase has like 10 drops. What are they doing? And then all of a sudden they went on this run and Jamar Chase has been a 1,200 yard, 90 catch guy or whatever he is. Just amazing. Just amazing.
He's been, I mean, their stock has been rising all year long, right? Just a slow and steady rise. And then in the last couple weeks in those playoff games, really impressive, like you were saying, against the Raiders, impressive against, when they're taking on
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee and then Kansas City. Like the way that, I mean, Joe Burrow is everything that you want in a guy that's going to be in a position to play in his first Super Bowl. He's going to, doesn't seem flustered by anything. And that pick of Chase, that anybody and everybody that would have been in that position probably would have taken O-line.
Right.
Because they couldn't keep Joe Burrow upright at all.
Dude, I don't even think half of that front office was even set on taking Chase at one point. Like, I think half of that front office was saying, no, we need to go offensive line. And, maybe Burrow did talk them into it. I don't know.
Part of me thinks that Joe Burrow had one of those put your thing on the table moments. And been like, this dude needs to be here. And, really gives him the ability to be able to make up for the lack of talent on the offensive line. But listen, I think go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, look, Joe Burrow to me is a guy that the defense stepped up this year. The offensive line definitely stepped up this year. The receivers stepped up this year. The running game stepped up this year. And to me, most of that is because of good coaching and Joe Burrow. He's the guy that makes everybody around him even better. And that's what Peyton did. That's what Brady did. That's what Elway did. That's what Montana did. You know what I mean? Obviously those teams
elevate the talent.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you have great talent, Peyton Manning made Marvin Harrison an even better receiver than what he was. So, I just think Joe Burrow has that, like you said, walks in the room, right on the table. I mean, he's got it.
And to some degree, Stafford had moments like that this year.
Yeah.
Right. Stafford, was mired in mediocrity in Detroit. Gets a chance to be able to go out to LA and be surrounded by, an immense amount of talent. And he has those moments like Burrow has with Chase. He's got those moments with Cooper Kupp, like that play against Tampa where they got the ball with next to no time left. And he's hitting Cooper Kupp for 70-plus yard play down the field to put them in a position to win the game.
Dude, it's like Madden.
it really those games in the divisional round and the AFC the championship round, you really saw the separation in talent between guys that are at the top and upper echelon of the league and the guys that aren't.
Right. I agree. And listen, Stafford had a great year up until, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 weeks of the year where he looked brutal, but he stepped up in the playoffs. Like you said, you see what teams are better than the others. I'm just somebody, and I'm a Stafford fan. Like, I wouldn't mind to see him win. I want to see Cincinnati win, but I just hate McVay so much. And I just think that the Rams kind of pulled the Yankees where they're trying to buy their championship. And I don't know. but going back to Stafford a little bit, to me I think there are franchises that are cursed. Like literally, I am dead serious. I'm not even like conspiracy. I think Detroit is cursed. I think Portland Trailblazers are cursed. I think the Arizona Coyotes are cursed. I think the Flyers are cursed. It's just since 75, the Flyers have been cursed. So it doesn't make sense to me that you had Stafford, who put up great numbers. Don't get me wrong. He had to come back in a lot of games, but he had arguably a top 5 greatest receiver of all time, and they never did anything. So like, and now you see him with Cooper Kupp, and he's in a Super Bowl. Like it's crazy. But I would like to see him win. I wish it wasn't with Sean McVay, because I loathe Sean McVay.
Yeah. I mean, as pretty as he is, he's a hate the face guy for me. Like he's a guy who always, the thing that always kind of rubbed me the wrong way was like the one interview that he has where like he's like, oh well, do you remember when you were in week 16 when the Redskins were playing the Giants, and
in 2015,
2015, and it was 3rd down in the middle of the 3rd quarter. It's like, well, we had Antonio Gibson run a Z, and he's going through this whole thing, and I'm like,
it's so fake.
It is, but to me, like, well, okay, so you can remember, you've got the photographic memory, great. I think that he also turtles up in certain moments.
Yeah,
like he in that championship game, they were, I think there was like 9 or 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, and he had no timeouts. He had burned timeouts earlier on in late in the 3rd quarter. I think there could be a moment like that where Stafford turns the ball over, maybe deep in their zone, gives Joe Burrow a short field. But I think the matchup, the Ramsey Chase matchup is going to be one to watch. But I think the Rams defensive line and the Cincinnati offensive line, those are going to be the ones to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to McVay, like, what a choke artist in his career so far. Like, and listen, what year was that? 2018 when they went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yeah,
he had a great playoffs, and then the big game comes, and what does he do? He gets on 2 knees and he starts, right to Belichick. I don't want to say it, but right on the Belichick. You know what I mean? And what does he do? He chokes. And then coming into this game against Tampa a couple weeks ago, what does he do? He gets a big lead, lets them right back in it, and he starts to choke again. And then you know what? I give him a lot of credit. He pulled the big, in the locker room.
Yeah.
He whipped it on the table late in the game, and I give him credit for that. But I definitely want to see him choke a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I think the part that I'm looking forward to the most, like you said, with the offensive defensive lines, coaching. I really want to see how they coach against each other. I really think that's going to be key.
The thing that I'm looking forward to the most on Sunday, I hate to say it, doesn't even involve the players on the field.
Okay. Halftime?
I can't wait for this halftime show.
That's what I thought.
This halftime show is if they just do old shit, that is going to be incredible.
Dude, they shouldn't even have a game. Just have the concert, Just have a 2-hour concert.
Hold on. We can't start the 3rd quarter.
Right.
Between Snoop and Dre and Eminem, I mean, I hope they come out and do a bunch of old stuff. It being in California is great. And you had mentioned earlier in one of your other shows the meme of Eminem and Stafford being it's the closest Detroit is ever going to get to being in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You got Dre, Snoop, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, I think
and Kendrick Lamar.
It's going to be wild.
And Kendrick Lamar came out when I was in high school. He's got a couple of really good albums, and for anybody who likes that old Eminem, late 90s, early 2000s, hip hop. He's got that feel. So like he fits right in with these guys. So I'm excited.
It's going to be the one that is going to be the bridge between like the current fan base and you and me.
Right.
Like there's going to be a bunch of kids in the middle that are like, oh, Kendrick Lamar. Like, wouldn't surprise me if like a bunch of them are Dre. They're going back and listening to the Chronic album and
right. Dude, I just saw that on vinyl the other day. I'm kind of So I collect vinyls and I saw the first Chronic and I was like, damn, maybe I should actually get this, but I didn't get it because I don't like remastered records that much.
Okay,
and it was remastered, so I like to hear the pop. So
I got you.
So I couldn't do it, and it was like $30 where like I can go to the record store that like the real record store and get it for like $10 if they have it.
Okay,
but but no, I agree. Like you're gonna have the older people or the older generation who grew up with, the Chronic, Dr. Dre, the late 90s, early 2000s Eminem, and they're gonna hopefully look at Kendrick and be like, wow, this dude can rap. And then like you're gonna have the younger people who don't know much about Dre and Eminem, and oh wow, these guys are actually really good. Like
they're going to be going up and they're going to be pulling up the Eminem show and Doggy Style.
Right.
They're going to hear some funny old shit. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
Your predictions for the game, Dom. Who's the MVP and who wins the game?
So let me start this by saying I really want to see Cincinnati win. Obviously, if you guys have not picked that up yet, especially if you follow me on Twitter, I've tweeted a lot about Cincinnati. But I do think the Rams pull this out. I want to say Stafford, but I feel like Aaron Donald's gonna have like 4 sacks. So but I want to say Stafford gets the MVP because I feel like he's gonna throw like 3 touchdowns, 300 plus yards. Like he's gonna have himself a game. I got a parlay going out there, so I'm hoping hoping Jamar Chase. My phone just died too. I can't even. So me and my brother-in-law put out a couple bucks together, and we went in together on a parlay.
Okay.
I think it was Stafford to have over so many yards, Mixon to have over 60 rushing, Jamar Chase to have 4+ catches and a touchdown. Like it's crazy.
Okay.
But
listen,
doable.
You put those 10 leggers together, right? You put $1 on it, and
right?
If it hits,
yeah. No, I think it was Odell with 4 catches and Jamar Chase with a touchdown. That's what it was.
All right.
So
I mean, listen, all those things are completely doable.
Yeah, and he's been super lucky with winning the bets this year in the playoffs, and I haven't won a single one. So I was like, you know what? I need to rub some magic. I need you to rub some magic off on me. So here's $25, and we'll split.
Listen, I think for me the MVP is like if the quarterback has a good game and that team wins, it's probably going to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
I think the guy that's going to make the impact, I think, is going to be somebody on that Rams defensive line.
Yeah.
Right? So I think like a guy like Von Miller, who has played in a Super Bowl before, who has shown out in a Super Bowl before. I think he's a guy like Donald, right? You could see a spot where he gets 3-4 sacks. Maybe he's got a fumble. Maybe he causes a couple turnovers. But I do think I'm kind of in the same spot you are, right? I'd love to see Cincinnati win. There's a lot of Cincinnati there's a lot of Philly that I see in Cincinnati, right? They're teams that are kind of mired in mediocrity. They get this shot. They haven't had a shot since they played the 49ers. I think in the long run, I think the talent level on the Rams side is going to be much greater than what's on Cincinnati.
No, I completely agree, and I would absolutely love to see Cincinnati win, even on top of the fact that the Rams have like one draft pick this year, and it's in like the 5th round, and like that would make it even better if they lost because they gave all of this up just to lose. And I would love to see Sean McVay cry, and I hope that he never falls asleep again. Like I hope it keeps him up forever. Like I that's how much I don't like Sean McVay as a coach, and like, but I just agree with you. I just think the talent level is it's a lot different. The Rams as a team have been there. I know Stafford hasn't, but they've been to the Super Bowl. They've been in the playoffs. I mean, this is Joe Burrow's first ride. Not that he can't win, but and then going back to the MVP thing too, real quick. I think that it can only be so many guys. Like I think it can only be Stafford or Burrow or Mixon or Donald and maybe Chase. Like I don't even think Cooper Kupp could win an MVP or the MVP because if he has a crazy game, that means Stafford had an even crazier game. Right. And that doesn't necessarily mean like if Jamar Chase has a crazy game, I don't think that necessarily means Joe Burrow had a crazy game.
True.
But yeah, I don't think there's much to choose from to pick an MVP. You know, I just think it's going to be between 4 or 5 guys. And did you see the kicker is like plus 10,000 or whatever to win? McPherson, is that his name?
That dude has got ice in his veins. That dude is.
I mean, he'll never win it, but it was just like it was funny. Yeah, like what if I throw a 50-cent bet on it? Like.
Listen, Dom, you put $1 on it. There are worse ways to spend $1,
right? Absolutely. Hey, I mean, if $1 could turn into, 1,000, I mean, it's less than a piece of gum, right? I mean, that's the way you got to look at it, right?
Seriously,
you got to be in it to win it.
Oh, man, Dom. On that note, what do you got for final thoughts?
I'm just really, really excited to. Well, let me give you 2 actually. One,
sure.
We'll go back to the Sixers for a sec. I'm really excited for tomorrow. I am going to be let down. I know that, but the Philly in me is hopeful. And the second thing, I want to see Joe Burrow just whip it out on the table like we were talking about. I really want to see that. So I don't know if we will, but here's the wishful thinking.
Listen, I will say that for my final thoughts tonight, like I had some sad news come across my desk late over the weekend. My college baseball coach at Newman College passed away. He was kind of on the mend, but not doing so hot. So, my final thoughts are, to my college baseball coach, Len Schuler, who was my coach for 4 years, who was kind of like our dad on campus. He, was never about him, was always about the kids, was always about helping us out, putting us in the right spots, making sure we're, on time. But it was never in that like negative, punitive way. It was always in that like, I know your dads are at home, but I'm your dad here kind of thing.
Right.
And just the most kind, caring, loving guy. And, just a huge, kind of thoughts and prayers to his family. And to anybody at the Newman community that, was a coach. He was a coach there he coached girls basketball, boys baseball. At one point, he coached towards the end of his career, coached softball, and just heavily involved in the athletic department. So just huge shout out to him and his family, and we'll keep him in our prayers. And I'm sure they'll probably have something on campus, in the spring when those spring sports roll around. But just huge shout out to when those kind of impactful people in your life, when stuff like that happens, it kind of makes you take a little inventory. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Just, so not to kind of end on a sad note, share with the people where they can find you and the Fired Up crew.
Yeah, you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Dom Consul, on the bottom right there. You can
There
follow
you
Mike
go.
at Mike_Gilletto. We are at Fired Up Podcast. I think that's our name on Twitter. I don't even know.
Yeah.
He runs
Yeah.
everything. I just clicked the link to go on our page. So like
Gotcha.
but yeah, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast. Yeah, I come have a laugh with us. We talk about
Hey, Dom,
sports
Dom,
and
don't forget, don't forget they can find you on Belly Up TV.
yes,
On
yes.
on Tiki Live.
Listen, I could tell my mom I made it. Right, I'm on TV.
You're on TV. I made it, Mom. I'm there.
That's 2 times I got on this episode that I've talked about how I was on TV. There you go.
Well, listen, Dom. I don't know if your phone was dead,
Yes,
but Mike sent me this picture.
there it is. Yeah, I'm all the way on the end. Yep, and that's my brother-in-law with the hat.
That's awesome.
I wonder how he got that. Was that online? It probably was.
I don't know. That's awesome though. Yeah, but listen, for us, the sponsors have been scrolling across the bottom the entire night, but our one sponsor, La Terrain Luxury Watches, it's an American-made brand. They've got really cool stuff that's kind of under $400, but it's really sharp, really nice, classy stuff. And our one sponsor, Team Clicks, with the sports themed sunglass wear, is actually sponsoring some of the United States Olympic teams.
Oh shit!
So you can see them and their stuff on there. They're a U.S. Based company. You can have your Eagles, your Flyers, and the cool thing about them, Dom, is that they have the interchangeable sides, so they're magnetic. So you can put your Eagles stuff on one day and have your Flyers and Sixers stuff, mix them up. Just another, just something cool to add to the apparel wear that I have, that I'm sure you and I have far too much of.
No, not enough.
Not enough. No,
I don't know if my wife. I don't know if my wife would agree with that, but
Dom, it's never enough. But listen, our Drunk on Broad content, again, you can find it on all the podcasting platforms, on Spreaker and Apple and Spotify and iHeart and wherever the hell you listen to a podcast. You can see our YouTube channel, but you can catch our episodes replayed on Tiki Live on the Belly Up TV channel on Thursdays and Saturdays at noon. So check us out there if you're listening in. Check us out, and Dom, truly appreciate you coming on tonight and having a quick convo.
Dude, I appreciate it. It's always a great time.
Absolutely, bro.
Every single time. You too.